very happy quilt.
I know, I love it. Even though the rows are not even or anything like that, I fell in love with this quilt. And she did the fabric is flannel. That's another issue, you know, for first time, that's hard to work with. You know, cotton would have been easier for her. But she loved it so much when she came to pick it up. She was like, I might try another one for my daughter, for my youngest daughter, because now she's upset that she didn't get one. So I'm like, okay, let me know if you need some help, and you know, I'll be glad to help you, give you some guidance where you didn't have it before, you know, kind of a thing. I said, but I would choose something without the sashing, because that'll be a little easier for you. And she said, what sashing? I'm like, okay, yeah, it wouldn't hurt for you to have some help. So, but she loved it, and I had to trim both sides. The top and the bottom were pretty good, but both sides, I mean, seriously, they went like that all the way down. And she knew I was going to have to trim it. I felt, y'all have never felt so bad trimming something in all my life. But I mean, you know, she knew it had to, and I just felt terrible because I just love this quilt. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's all my quilt stories, but I have some more news I'd like to share, as long as it's my turn. We found out that we're going to be grandparents in April.
Hey.
So we're super excited. And yeah, I'm just excited. We're going to be going to Savannah a lot, I'm sure. So
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, Sue, let's look at your quilt.
Well, this was a lot of fun to do. This is a charity quilt, and you know, sometimes there's crazy fabrics, and so there's some big tomatoes or something, apples, I guess they are, apples, fruit plus apple blossoms at the same time, and which is very puzzling. And then some sheep, and then just an assortment of different kinds of fabrics. And so this was really satisfying to do, just to do a really simple straight seams, cut it out, figure out how you want to lay it out, quilt.
Well, your colors look good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, because there's a lot of browns and a lot of greens in the charity bins. So it was fun to work with reds for a change.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Okay. And that's just a strip piece block, isn't it?
Yes, I just did long strips, and I went from the values light to dark. So I did the light to medium, and the next a little bit darker to the dark, and it's 8 different fabrics. So I had some variety in the strips themselves.
Okay, very cool.
So instead of setting it straight across, I set it on the diagonal, which also was exciting to not lose my place, but it turned out okay.
It looks good. It looks very good. Well, Terry, I know you're eating, but can you talk about your quilts? Okay. You're muted.
Okay. All right. There was a lot of background noise. I apologize for that. Anyway.
You're fine.
Terry, tell us about that.
Okay, this one is called Tugless, and it is 10-foot square. My husband, gets all the quilts. So the whole point is that this is big enough that I can get into bed after he's asleep and still have some quilt for me.
I love the name. That is so classic.
What was the name again? What?
Tugless.
Tugless. Perfect.
Very nice.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah. Oh.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Very pretty.
And that's based on one of the Bonnie Hunter patterns. I think she calls that color box.
Okay.
Except I made it a little bit smaller. The piece is a little bit smaller.
Okay, let me get the next one up. Oh, this is another picture of the same one. Let me get it over there. Sorry. There we go. There's another picture of it.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
And it touches the ground just about on both sides.
Mm. That's what you want. Okay, and then
And that's,
Okay.
Terry Jarrett.
and that's my name signed into it. So
that's really smart to
Oh, that's
do.
cute.
I've never done that.
it helps.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think I talked about this one, but I don't know if I showed a picture. But this is Kira. The one Rosie has done lots of these.
Background kids.
My mother and I, we were supposed to go see this woman in March. This was the first COVID cancellation. We were going to go and make this quilt. So when we got together in July, right before she turned 80, we made this quilt together. We did
Very
this.
cool. Yeah, I've gotten Rosie to send me the instructions, but I haven't made one yet.
It's fun. It's addictive.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's very graphic.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
And this is that same pattern done with some K facet fabrics. And that's going to be a baby quilt for my cousin. I think this is going to be my first cousin twice removed or something like that. But in any case.
That'll be a cute baby quilt. Those are great colors.
She's very sophisticated, stylish young lady, so she needs something sophisticated for her baby.
There you go.
No teddy bears and rocking horses.
And this is this is like a leader ender project. And that toile I just have had for a while, so I decided to go ahead and use it.
And that's gonna be cute.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I started 2 or 3 leader enders and I've never finished them, so I need to just make myself finish it.
I get to the point where they take over. Now, this one, my mother made this same quilt in white with a white background, and I really liked the way it came out. It was pretty simple to make, so I did it again, but with a black background.
That's really cool looking.
Yeah, that's very neat. And is that just a square with a stripe on both
Sorry.
sides of it?
I would have had this one just today, except I sewed one seam wrong, so I have to take that seam out, and I have 2 more seams to finish it.
Very good.
At least finish the top.
What are you going to do with all these quilts you've made?
Lord only knows.
Who else said something? I'm sorry, somebody else said something.
I just said it's a good way to use scraps.
So,
Yes. And this is starting on another tessellation quilt and this is like a redo of a quilt that I already did called One Nation Under Groove. But I'm doing this for my brother and his wife because the 10-year anniversary quilt that I gave them, it's beyond work. It's not usable anymore. So the squares where it's white in there, it will be filled in with smaller squares of the orange of the right colors. So I'm just starting to design the orange.
cool.
And then I'll have blue on the outside of it.
You need to show us your fabric stash sometime.
Yeah, okay.
Very cool. Those are all great.
On a field trip.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just go shop at her
Terry's
house.
Yeah, Terry, you could just pick up their tablet and walk over to your stash and show us. We don't know you.
She's at work right
I'm
now.
here at work, so, yeah.
Okay.
This is what I'm working on right now that I'm excited about. It came out of a book that I bought several years ago from Schoolhouse. And this is the background that you start with, and then it has all different laces and burlaps and all sorts of stuff on it. And then you paint over it, and then you embellish on top of it after you've painted it. So this will be the background of it that I'm going to paint over tomorrow, the next day, and then start going back and you start adding flowers and different stitching and stuff like that over the top. So I'm excited. It's been fun so far.
How big is it? What colors are you
It's
gonna
about
paint it?
14 by 19, I think, right now. It'll get smaller, but that's what it started out as.
Did you
What
make
colors
those
are you gonna use?
flowers?
I'm sorry.
Did
What
you make the
colors
flowers? Did you make the flowers?
No, they're from just a piece of, a long strip of trim, and I just clip
Did you
them
do
off
your
of.
tatting? Did you do your tatting up there and your small
The
little?
tatting, my grandmother did that. That's some of her tatting. I found a batch of it when we were cleaning out Mom's house, and so I thought, well, I'm going to put a little bit of that in there too. So it's going to be fun to see how I did a test just to see how things would take the paint, and I think they did all right. These one things, the dark ones are couched on, and I'm not sure how they're going to paint over, but we'll see. If a little bit of the color stays in it, that's okay too. So
What
that's
colors are you
my
gonna use?
this is my playtime right now. So.
Interesting.
And then this is what I've been working on this past week is practicing my machine quilting using rulers, and just learning how to do some of these things like the square spiral, I think it's called. And y'all, it's so easy. Yeah, I have to concentrate or I end up doing it wrong, but it's a very easy pattern to do.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And then I did this one as well. That uses a little petal shaped ruler, and you put the ruler has a little pin dot at the bottom of it, and I'm thinking about the point, you can't see, right in here there's a pin, you stick a push pin or a thumbtack up through it, and then you set that little hole on that push pin, and it lets you do that circle and keep everything in place. So this was like the fourth or fifth time that I'd done this circle before, and it's almost right. It's still not quite, but it was fun.